Have you been waiting for luck to finally show up? Have you been hoping that one day, without warning, success will just fall into your lap? Be honest, how long have you been hoping instead of installing? Here's the brutal truth: hope is not a strategy. Hope will keep you stuck. Hope will leave you broke. Hope will trap you in the same cycle of starting and quitting over and over. What you need is not another motivational rush. What you need is a habit code, a system so strong that it forces success whether you feel motivated or not. The trap of hoping. Most people fail because they hope instead of building. They hope for the perfect time. They hope for the right opportunity. They hope for motivation to strike. And while they're hoping, life moves forward without them. Their peers pass them by. Their dreams decay. Their potential rots in silence. The habit code. The 20% who win understand something radical: success is not about hope. It's about code. They install a set of daily habits so tight, so automated, so inescapable, that success becomes inevitable. They don't hope to wake up early, they build the habit. They don't hope to train, they build the habit. They don't hope to grow wealth, they build the habit. Habits don't ask for permission. Habits don't wait for motivation. Habits execute automatically. Why you must stop hoping. Hope gives you comfort. Habits give you certainty. Hope delays. Habits deliver. Hope lies. Habits prove. Napoleon Hill said it best. You are where you are because of your established habits. You may change where you are by changing your habits. If your life is coded by weak habits, no amount of hoping will save you. If your life is coded by strong habits, no amount of resistance can stop you. Your shift today. From this moment on, you stop hoping. You stop waiting. You stop believing in someday. Instead, you start installing. You start coding. You start building habits so relentless, so automatic, that success has no choice but to appear. Because hope will not get you there. The habit code will. Hope feels good. Hope feels safe. Hope whispers, maybe tomorrow will be different. Maybe next week I'll finally get serious. Maybe the right chance will come if I just wait long enough. But here's the problem: hope delays action. And delayed action is nothing more than disguised failure. The illusion of hope. Think about how hope has trapped you before. You said you'd start on Monday, but Monday came and went. You waited for motivation, but it never stayed long enough. You believed the right moment would appear, but months turned into years. Hope gives you permission to stand still while convincing yourself that you're moving forward. It's the greatest illusion of progress without progress. The pain of hoping without action. Every time you lean on hope, you reinforce weakness. You wait instead of act. You dream instead of build. You imagine instead of install. And the worst part? Hope numbs you. It convinces you that waiting is acceptable. That delay is harmless. That drifting is okay. But inside, you know the truth: every day you spend hoping is a day you'll never get back. Why habits crush hope? Habits destroy the illusion because habits don't care about feelings. They don't ask if you're ready. They don't negotiate. They execute. Hope says, I'll try to wake up early. Habit says, the alarm rings, and I'm up. Hope says, I'll try to save money this month. Habit says, I transfer 10% the moment I get paid. Hope says, I'll try to exercise 3 times a week. Habit says, it's Tuesday. I train, no matter what. Habits turn promises into systems. They turn intentions into inevitabilities. Napoleon Hill's warning. Hill wrote, procrastination, the opposite of decision, is a common enemy which practically every person must conquer. Hope is procrastination dressed in comforting clothes. It is the refusal to decide, the refusal to act, the refusal to install. Habits are the cure. Once the code is installed, procrastination has no place to hide. The 80% trap versus the 20% advantage. The 80% live on hope. They wait, they delay, they drift. Their goals stay dreams. Their lives stay average. The 20% live on habits. They build, they repeat, they persist. Their goals turn into systems. Their lives turn into results. This is the dividing line. Which side are you choosing? Your shift today. From today on, you stop saying, I hope. You start saying, I install. No more hoping for health, you build the habit. No more hoping for wealth, you build the habit. No more hoping for success, you build the habit. Because hope is fragile. Habits are final. And once habits are installed, success is forced. You cannot install habits without first installing discipline. Discipline is the foundation. Habits are the structure. Without discipline, habits collapse before they ever take root. Hope tells you to wait. Habits tell you to act. But discipline is what forces you to begin the habit in the first place. It's the bridge between intention and installation. Why discipline comes first? Every habit begins as a conscious act of discipline. The first time you wake up early, it's discipline. The first time you save money instead of spending, it's discipline. The first time you train when you're tired, it's discipline. Only after enough repetitions does discipline crystallize into habit. That's why you can't skip discipline. It's the price of entry. Napoleon Hill emphasized this truth. Self-discipline is the master key to riches. Not talent. Not luck. Not timing. Discipline. Because discipline is the force that makes you act even when every fiber of your body wants to delay. The 80% problem, excuse over effort. The majority don't lack knowledge. They lack discipline. They know exercise is important, but they skip the gym. They know saving matters, but they swipe the card. They know learning compounds, but they binge distractions. Their problem isn't ignorance. It's refusal to enforce action when it matters most. They choose excuse over effort, comfort over commitment. The 20% advantage, discipline as identity. The disciplined minority make different choices. They don't wait for motivation. They don't rely on moods. They don't care if it's convenient. They do it because they said they would. They do it because discipline is who they are. Every time they act with discipline, they cast a vote for a new identity. I am someone who follows through. And over time, that identity hardens until discipline is no longer just what they do, it's who they are. How to build discipline into your code. Here's how you transform discipline from a struggle into a system. 1. Make non-negotiables. Pick the essential actions you must execute daily, no matter what. 2. Decide once. Remove the option to debate. If the alarm rings, you rise. If it's Tuesday, you train. The less you negotiate, the stronger your discipline. 3. Embrace discomfort. Discipline thrives in discomfort. Each time you choose pain over pleasure, you reinforce strength over weakness. 4. Reward completion, not feeling. Celebrate the fact you acted, not whether you enjoyed it. Discipline grows when action, not emotion, is rewarded. Macro-micro discipline. At the macro level, discipline decides the trajectory of your life. At the micro level, it's just one choice, to do what you said you'd do, regardless of how you feel. And when those small disciplined acts are repeated daily, they evolve into habits that define your destiny. Your shift today. From today forward, you stop waiting to feel ready. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop choosing excuses. Instead, you enforce discipline. You decide once, act daily, and let discipline carve the habits that guarantee success. Because hope won't build habits. Excuses won't build habits. Only discipline will. And once discipline is yours, habits are inevitable. Discipline gets you started. But it's habits that keep you going. Discipline demands energy, but habits return it. Discipline is the spark, but habits are the engine. Without habits, discipline feels like an endless uphill climb. With habits, success begins to run on autopilot. Most people underestimate this truth. They think success comes from dramatic actions, grand gestures, bursts of effort. But the reality is simpler: your future is the sum of your habits. Why habits matter more than motivation? Motivation is temporary. It rises and falls with mood, weather, and circumstance. That's why people who rely on motivation are inconsistent. They can only act when they feel like it. Habits don't ask permission. Habits don't negotiate. Habits execute. You don't decide each morning whether to brush your teeth, you just do it. You don't debate whether to tie your shoes before running, you just do it. When success habits reach that level, results stop being optional. Napoleon Hill taught this principle. Any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. Habits are simply repetitions that have taken root so deeply, they no longer need willpower to survive. The 80% problem: weak or destructive habits. The majority already live by habits, just the wrong ones. They scroll instead of study. They spend instead of save. They complain instead of build. And because these habits feel automatic, they convince themselves they have no control. But in truth, they've just installed the wrong code. The 20% advantage: productive habits. The successful minority know that habits can be engineered. They deliberately design their routines. They anchor mornings with purpose. They schedule actions that align with goals. They repeat small wins until the identity sticks. They don't drift into habits, they install them. And that difference makes success inevitable. How habits guarantee results. Habits are powerful because they save energy. Once installed, they require no willpower. Create consistency. Repetition compounds results daily. Rewire identity. Every action reinforces: this is who I am. This is why habits make success predictable. The more positive habits you stack, the narrower the gap between who you are and who you want to be. The habit installation formula. Here's how you build habits that enforce success. 1. Anchor to triggers. Tie a new habit to an existing action. Example: after pouring coffee, review your goals. After brushing teeth, write one sentence. 2. Start small. Shrink the habit until failure is impossible. 1 push-up. 1 page. $1 saved. 3. Repeat relentlessly. Daily repetition is the secret. Habits grow in the soil of consistency. 4. Track and celebrate. Record every completion. Streaks build pride, and pride reinforces persistence. Macro-micro habit power. At the macro level, habits design your destiny. At the micro level, they are just repeated actions. But when you zoom out after years of repetition, those small actions become monumental achievements. 1 paragraph a day becomes books. 1 workout a day becomes strength. 1 investment a month becomes wealth. Your shift today. From this moment forward, you stop relying on motivation. You stop waiting for willpower to magically appear. You stop living in the fragile cycle of try and quit. Instead, you install habits. You engineer them. You repeat them until they become identity. Because when habits take over, success becomes automatic. And once success is automatic, hope is no longer needed, results are guaranteed. Most people treat success like a mystery. They act as if some invisible force decides who wins and who fails, as if results were random and out of their control. But here's the reality: success is predictable. Just like mathematics, if you repeat the right inputs long enough, you will always get the outcome. Habits are the formula. Discipline is the consistency that feeds it. Together, they make results not a matter of chance, but a matter of inevitability. Why people believe success is random. The 80% live with fragile codes. They dabble for a few weeks, then stop. They start routines, then abandon them. They expect instant breakthroughs, and when they don't see them, they quit. To them, success looks random because they never persist long enough to see the compound effect. They think winners got lucky, when in reality, winners just didn't stop. The 20% know it's math. The minority who succeed live by a simple truth: success compounds like interest. If you save consistently, wealth is inevitable. If you train consistently, strength is inevitable. If you create consistently, influence is inevitable. It's not luck. It's not magic. It's math. Small actions, repeated daily, equal guaranteed results. Napoleon Hill captured this principle. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief alone is not enough. Belief must be enforced by habits that run daily, without fail. How habits make results predictable. Habits guarantee results in 3 ways. Consistency, repetition compounds effort into outcome. Identity, each habit reinforces who you are becoming. Momentum, small wins stack until they trigger unstoppable progress. That's why successful people seem lucky. Their habits built momentum until results looked effortless. The predictability formula. Here's the system in its simplest form. Discipline habits, consistency results. Discipline makes you show up. Habits make showing up automatic. Consistency ensures you repeat long enough. Results appear as the inevitable byproduct. This formula never fails. The only variable is whether you run it long enough. The 80% trap versus the 20% path. The 80% quit before results compound. They plant seeds, dig them up, and call the soil bad. The 20% keep planting, keep watering, keep trusting. And because they trust the formula, harvest is inevitable. This is why most fail and few win. Macro-micro predictability. At the macro level, predictability looks like destiny, success as the inevitable result of a life coded by discipline. At the micro level, it looks boring: 1 repetition today, 1 habit kept, 1 action executed. But zoom out far enough, and those micro repetitions create a future so strong it looks like magic to everyone else. Your shift today. Stop telling yourself success is uncertain. Stop blaming luck. Stop pretending results are out of your hands. Start seeing results as math. Start running the formula. Start trusting habits to guarantee outcomes. Because success is not random. It is coded. And once the code is installed, the outcome is inevitable. Everyone dreams of the breakthrough. The massive transformation. The overnight success story that flips life upside down in a single moment. But breakthroughs don't happen because of one giant leap. They happen because of thousands of small steps. It's the micro wins, the tiny, repeatable habits, that ignite the macro victories. The myth of the big leap. The 80% chase intensity over consistency. They sign up for extreme programs they can't sustain. They set massive goals but never honor daily actions. They burn hot, then burn out. They believe that success comes from doing something extraordinary once, when in reality, it comes from doing something ordinary repeatedly. The power of small wins. The 20% who succeed protect the small wins. $1 saved today compounds into freedom tomorrow. 1 page written today compounds into a book tomorrow. 1 workout today compounds into strength tomorrow. Each win may look insignificant in the moment, but stacked together, they become unstoppable. Napoleon Hill explained it clearly. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. That's why winners obsess over consistency, not drama. Why small wins matter. Small wins matter for 3 reasons. They build momentum. Each victory creates energy to keep going. Momentum compounds faster than motivation. They shape identity. Every time you keep a promise, you reinforce, I am disciplined. Identity grows through repetition. They are sustainable. Big leaps exhaust you. Small wins energize you. Small wins can last a lifetime. The 80% problem, discarding the small. The majority dismiss small wins. They think one workout is pointless. They think $1 saved is meaningless. They think one page written is a waste. Because they despise small beginnings, they never arrive at big endings. The 20% advantage, protecting the chain. The successful minority protect their streaks. They understand that missing one small win is dangerous because it weakens the chain. They track every completion. They celebrate every repetition. They build pride in persistence, not perfection. Their secret is simple: they don't let small wins slip. And because they don't, big wins become unavoidable. How to build small wins into your habit code. 1. Start ridiculously small. Shrink the habit until it feels impossible to fail. 1 push-up. 1 sentence. $1. 2. Anchor the chain. Link the habit to something you already do daily. After coffee, journal. After brushing teeth, stretch. 3. Track relentlessly. Mark every win. Keep score. Build evidence of identity. 4. Celebrate completion. Don't wait for big milestones. Every small win is a milestone. Treat it like proof that the code is working. Macro-micro transformation. At the macro level, small wins look like unstoppable transformation. At the micro level, they look boring, ordinary repetitions. But when you zoom out, you see the truth: big victories are nothing more than stacked micro victories. Your shift today. From today, you stop chasing giant leaps. You stop despising small beginnings. You stop dismissing the daily repetitions that seem insignificant. Instead, you embrace micro wins. You protect them. You repeat them until the chain becomes unbreakable. Because success isn't built in one leap. It's built one small win at a time. And once the wins stack, hope is no longer needed, success becomes inevitable. Everyone wants to go fast. They want instant results, instant wealth, instant transformation. They sprint hard, burn bright, and collapse before the finish line. But success doesn't go to the fastest starter. It goes to the longest finisher. Persistence beats speed every time. The obsession with speed. The 80% are addicted to speed. They try crash diets instead of sustainable nutrition. They chase quick profits instead of building real wealth. They binge productivity hacks instead of building discipline. Their entire mindset is, how fast can I get there? But speed without stamina is wasted effort. The power of endurance. The 20% who win think differently. They know it's not about how fast you start, it's about how long you can last. They train daily, year after year, without stopping. They invest consistently, decade after decade, without panic. They create relentlessly, project after project, without burnout. Endurance multiplies effort. Endurance compounds results. Endurance turns fragile habits into unshakable identity. Napoleon Hill said, "There is no substitute for persistence." The person who makes persistence his watchword discovers that old man failure finally becomes tired and makes his departure. Persistence doesn't just carry you forward. It outlasts failure until failure gives up. Why endurance matters more than speed. Habits need time to solidify. Repetition builds grooves in your subconscious. Endurance ensures the grooves get deep enough to become automatic. Momentum takes time. Compounding doesn't show in days, it shows in years. Only endurance lets you cross the invisible threshold. Obstacles test staying power. Everyone can start. Few can endure setbacks, plateaus, and boredom. Endurance is what separates dabblers from masters. The 80% trap, burnout. The majority collapse because they sprint. They work out intensely for a week, then stop. They save aggressively for a month, then spend it all. They start new habits with passion, then abandon them when progress feels slow. Their rhythm is unsustainable. Their expectations are unrealistic. And so their results evaporate. The 20% path, rhythm over rush. The disciplined minority choose rhythm instead of rush. They'd rather do 30 minutes daily for a year than 3 hours for a week. They'd rather save a small amount for decades than dump money once. They'd rather create consistently than binge and burn out. They know endurance guarantees results. How to install persistence into your habit code. 1. Lower the floor. Set habits so small you can sustain them even on bad days. 2. Measure streaks, not speed. Track how long you've stayed consistent, not how much you've done it once. 3. Embrace slow growth. Stop expecting quick results. Respect the compounding power of patience. 4. Build identity around endurance. Tell yourself daily, I persist. I outlast. I finish. Identity sustains action when motivation dies. Macro-micro endurance. At the macro level, persistence looks like destiny, you outlast everyone else. At the micro level, it looks simple, show up today, again. 1 rep, 1 action. 1 day at a time. Repeat it endlessly. Your shift today. Stop asking, how fast can I get there? Start asking, how long can I keep going? Because speed excites the crowd, but persistence builds the legend. And once persistence is yours, success is forced, because failure cannot outlast you. Most people crumble when resistance shows up. They see adversity as a stop sign, obstacles as proof they should quit, and setbacks as a signal they're not good enough. But here's the paradox: resistance is not your enemy, it's your training ground. The very force you fear is the very force that will forge you. The 80% reaction to resistance. Think about what the majority do. 1 rejection, and they stop trying. 1 failure, and they label themselves unworthy. 1 obstacle, and they assume the plan doesn't work. They treat resistance as a verdict. They take adversity personally. They confuse hard with impossible. And because of this, their habits collapse before they're fully installed. The 20% use resistance as reps. The minority who succeed flip the meaning. They don't see resistance as a wall, they see it as weights. Struggle becomes their gym. Setbacks become their lessons. Adversity becomes their sharpening stone. For them, resistance is not a signal to quit, it's confirmation that they're growing. Napoleon Hill said, "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. The seed is there, but only persistence can grow it." Why resistance strengthens habits? It exposes weak spots. When routines are tested, excuses surface. Resistance shows you where your code is fragile so you can reinforce it. It builds endurance. Muscles don't grow without tension. Habits don't strengthen without stress. It shapes identity. Each time you push through resistance, you prove, I am someone who doesn't break. I am someone who builds. The 80% trap, escaping pain. The majority avoid discomfort. They design lives with 0 friction, thinking comfort equals happiness. But comfort kills growth. A life without resistance is a life without strength. They scroll instead of struggle. They quit instead of question. They drift instead of endure. And so their code never hardens. The 20% path, seeking challenge. The disciplined few intentionally lean into resistance. They welcome hard goals because hard goals build strong people. They embrace setbacks because setbacks refine systems. They endure storms because storms deepen roots. They don't run from adversity, they train with it. How to convert resistance into strength. 1. Reframe immediately. When adversity hits, don't ask why me? Ask, how is this shaping me? 2. Shrink the battle. Don't obsess over the whole mountain. Just take the next foothold. Resistance is beaten step by step. 3. Capture the lesson. Every failure carries wisdom. Extract it. Record it. Apply it. 4. Track victories. Each time you push through, mark it. Build a library of resilience. Proof fuels persistence. Macro-micro view of resistance. At the macro level, adversity seasons are where legends are born. At the micro level, resistance is just one hard rep repeated again and again. Zoom in, it's painful. Zoom out, it's transformational. Your shift today. Stop treating resistance as punishment. Stop collapsing when life pushes back. Stop confusing difficulty with impossibility. Instead, declare, resistance is my training ground. Every obstacle is my repetition. Every setback is my strength. Because once you embrace resistance as part of the habit code, your habits become battle-tested. And when your habits are battle-tested, success is no longer fragile, it's unbreakable. You can force yourself into action for a while with sheer willpower. You can grind through discomfort for days or weeks. But if you want success that lasts years, even decades, you must go deeper. You must install the habit code into your subconscious mind so your actions run on autopilot. Most people never reach this stage. They live in constant negotiation with themselves. Should I do it today? Do I feel ready? Maybe tomorrow will be better. That daily debate drains energy and destroys consistency. The 80% lose the battle before they even start because their subconscious is coded against them. The 20% who succeed bypass negotiation entirely. They reprogram their subconscious until discipline and habits are no longer choices, they're defaults. Why the subconscious matters. Your subconscious controls 95% of your actions. Think about driving, you don't consciously analyze every turn of the wheel. You just do it. Think about walking, you don't focus on each step. You just move. Now imagine if your subconscious ran wealth-building habits, health-sustaining routines, and success-producing actions with the same automatic ease. You wouldn't need to feel motivated. You would just act. Napoleon Hill explained it this way. The subconscious mind makes no distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. It works with the material we feed it. This means your subconscious is always being programmed. The only question is, are you feeding it excuses or discipline? The 80% problem, negative programming. Most people sabotage themselves unconsciously. They repeat excuses until they sound like truth. They replay failure until it becomes identity. They reinforce weakness by quitting again and again. Their subconscious accepts all of it, then runs it like software. That's why they feel stuck, not because they can't change, but because their mental code is corrupted. The 20% advantage, intentional programming. Winners take control of the feed. They deliberately install success scripts into their subconscious. They repeat affirmations until belief hardens. They visualize success until the mind treats it as real. They align daily actions with identity until the brain has no choice but to accept, this is who I am. How to program your subconscious with the habit code. 1. Affirmations with emotion. Write clear, present tense declarations of discipline. Example. I am the kind of person who executes daily, no excuses. Speak them with intensity. Emotion engraves the message. 2. Visualization with detail. Close your eyes and rehearse your habits. See yourself completing them. Feel the satisfaction. The brain codes imagined experience almost the same as real experience. 3. Repetition without break. Feed the code daily. Morning and night. Skipping once weakens the groove. Persist until the subconscious accepts it. 4. Reinforce with action. Words and images must be backed by deeds. Every time you follow through, you prove to your subconscious that the code is real. Macro-micro subconscious power. At the macro level, subconscious programming transforms identity. At the micro level, it's just a few words repeated daily, a few minutes visualized, a few actions executed. Small repetitions accumulate into deep programming. And deep programming produces automatic action. The 80% versus the 20%. The 80% live on corrupted code, habits of excuses and drift. The 20% live on intentional code, habits of action and persistence. That's why the majority struggle while the minority succeed automatically. Your shift today. Stop letting your subconscious run on random input. Stop feeding it weakness and calling it truth. Stop living as a slave to corrupted code. Instead, program your mind with discipline. Install habits through repetition, affirmation, and action. Run the habit code until your subconscious believes it so deeply that you no longer ask, "Should I?" You simply do. Because when your subconscious runs the habit code, success becomes automatic. And when success is automatic, hope is no longer needed, results are guaranteed. You can speak affirmations. You can visualize. You can even act with discipline for a while. But unless you track your habits and build undeniable evidence, your subconscious will try to trick you back into drift. Proof is the weapon that silences doubt. Evidence locks the code. Why tracking matters. Your brain is always scanning for evidence. Am I really disciplined? Am I really improving? Can I trust this new identity? If the answer is vague, your subconscious defaults to old programming. I'm not consistent. I always quit. This isn't working. But when you track, when you build a streak, log your actions, and see the proof, your subconscious can no longer deny it. Habits stop being something you're trying to build. They become something you already are. The 80% problem, living blind. Most people never track. They try to work out but don't record sessions. They try to save money but don't monitor spending. They try to write but never count words. Because they don't measure, they don't see progress. Because they don't see progress, they feel stuck. Because they feel stuck, they quit. That's why their identity never changes, there's no evidence to back it up. The 20% advantage, proof over feelings. The disciplined minority do the opposite. They live by data, not moods. They record every workout. They track every dollar saved. They mark every day they write. And because they see progress, they believe progress. Because they believe progress, they persist. The cycle becomes self-reinforcing, action evidence belief more action. Napoleon Hill's perspective. Hill taught, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief isn't fragile hope, it's reinforced conviction. And conviction is built on proof. The feedback loop. Here's how the loop works. You act with discipline. Example, you write 1 page. You track the act. You mark the streak, log the word count, or check the box. Proof builds identity. You see the streak grow 1, 7, 30, 100 days. Identity fuels belief. You no longer say, "I want to be a writer." You say, "I am a writer." Belief drives more action. The loop strengthens itself. This is how habits evolve from fragile experiments into permanent identity. The 80% trap versus the 20% path. The 80% act but don't track. Their habits fade because their subconscious never sees proof. The 20% act and track relentlessly. Their habits harden because proof removes doubt. The tracking protocol. 1. Choose your metrics. Pick clear, visible markers. Minutes trained, pages written, dollars saved. 2. Log daily, no exceptions. Tracking once in a while weakens the code. Tracking daily cements it. 3. Celebrate streaks, not just results. Don't just celebrate the money or the weight lost. Celebrate the days you didn't break the chain. 4. Review and reflect. Every week, scan your log. See the story you're writing. Proof builds momentum. Macro-micro power of evidence. At the macro level, tracking becomes your autobiography of discipline. At the micro level, it's just one checkmark today. But zoom out, and those checkmarks become an unshakable identity. Your shift today. Stop living blind. Stop trusting feelings to tell you whether you're succeeding. Stop letting your subconscious erase your progress. Instead, measure. Track. Log. Build evidence so undeniable that your mind cannot lie to you anymore. Because once the proof stacks, identity locks. And when identity locks, habits no longer wobble, they harden into who you are. At that point, hope is irrelevant. Results are guaranteed. You can build habits alone. You can track progress alone. You can even persist for a while alone. But if you want to make your habit code unbreakable, you must add one more layer: community and accountability. Napoleon Hill called this the mastermind principle, the idea that no individual ever reaches greatness in isolation. You need others to amplify your discipline, reinforce your habits, and eliminate your escape routes. The 80% hide in silence. The majority prefer privacy because it protects excuses. They keep goals secret so no one sees when they quit. They work quietly so failure carries no cost. They live in isolation so drifting feels safe. But what feels safe in the short term kills progress in the long term. Silence shields mediocrity. Privacy protects procrastination. The 20% expose themselves. The successful minority do the opposite. They declare their goals publicly, invite accountability, and surround themselves with allies who refuse to let them quit. They join mastermind groups. They build circles of disciplined people. They raise the cost of quitting so high that persistence becomes the only option. For them, accountability is not weakness, it's leverage. Napoleon Hill on the mastermind. Hill wrote, "No two minds ever come together without, thereby, creating a third, invisible intangible force, which may be likened to a third mind. That force is accountability. When you align with others, their discipline fuels yours. Their belief strengthens yours. Their persistence multiplies yours. Why accountability multiplies the habit code? It raises the stakes. When others know your commitments, quitting becomes costly. It removes excuses. Your peers won't tolerate the lies you tell yourself. It fuels momentum. Celebrating wins together builds energy to continue. It creates a standard. In the right community, discipline is normal, not exceptional. The 80% versus the 20%. The 80% surround themselves with people who normalize excuses. The 20% choose circles that normalize execution. That single choice determines which code they live by. The accountability protocol. 1. Declare publicly. Tell someone your goal. Announce it. Raise the cost of quitting. 2. Build alliances. Find partners who share your hunger. Create check-ins, reviews, and shared commitments. 3. Add consequences. Tie failure to a cost: financial, social, or reputational. Pain keeps the code alive. 4. Celebrate together. Let your community see your progress. Shared pride multiplies persistence. Macro-micro accountability. At the macro level, accountability builds culture. At the micro level, it's just one text from a partner, one check-in call, one shared log. Small interactions amplify your discipline until habits feel unshakable. Your shift today. Stop hiding. Stop protecting your excuses in silence. Stop trying to build an unbreakable code alone. Instead, declare. Surround yourself with allies. Build systems of accountability so strong that failure becomes embarrassing, quitting becomes impossible, and persistence becomes natural. Because once accountability joins your habit code, your habits stop being fragile. They become fortified, amplified, and unstoppable. You are not just a product of your willpower. You are also a product of your environment. Most people fail not because they don't want success, but because their surroundings are coded against them. Their environment whispers distraction, tempts drift, and sabotages discipline. If you want your habit code to become unbreakable, you must design an environment that enforces it. The 80% environment, built for drift. Look at the average person's surroundings. Phones buzzing with endless notifications. Desks cluttered with reminders of chaos. Kitchens stocked with junk food. Bedrooms overloaded with distractions. And then they wonder why focus is impossible, why discipline collapses, why their habits fade. The truth is simple: their environment is coded for failure. The 20% environment, engineered for discipline. The disciplined minority do the opposite. They design their world with ruthless intentionality. They place gym clothes by the bed so training is automatic. They keep books visible and phones hidden so learning trumps scrolling. They remove junk food so the only option is clean fuel. They set up workspaces with single-purpose clarity, no clutter, no temptation. They don't fight their environment, they make their environment fight for them. Napoleon Hill's perspective. Hill wrote, "The subconscious mind makes no distinction between constructive and destructive thought impulses. It works with the material we feed it. Your environment is one of the biggest feeds into your subconscious. Clutter feeds confusion. Distraction feeds drift. Order feeds discipline. Purposeful design feeds persistence. What you surround yourself with, you become." Why environment shapes habits. It removes friction. When the right habit is the easiest option, it becomes automatic. It blocks temptation. When the wrong habit is hard to access, it dies. It provides triggers. Visual cues remind your subconscious what to do. It reinforces identity. Every time your space reflects discipline, you reinforce, "This is who I am." The 80% trap versus the 20% path. The 80% expect willpower to overcome temptation while living in distraction. The 20% design spaces so temptation never shows up. That single difference decides which code wins. The environment protocol. 1. Make good habits frictionless. Keep tools in sight. Journal on your desk. Guitar on a stand. Shoes by the door. 2. Make bad habits impossible. Remove triggers. Delete apps. Clear clutter. Throw out junk. 3. Design single-purpose spaces. Work at your desk. Sleep in your bed. Train in your gym. Purpose creates clarity. 4. Reset daily. Every evening, prepare tomorrow's environment. Success begins the night before. Macro-micro design. At the macro level, your environment predicts your destiny. At the micro level, it's just one choice: place this here, remove that there. But compounded daily, those choices make discipline automatic and excuses impossible. Your shift today. Stop expecting discipline to survive in hostile spaces. Stop blaming yourself for drift when your environment is designed for distraction. Stop fighting uphill battles in rooms built against you. Instead, build your world to match your habit code. Make the right choice the easy choice. Make the wrong choice the impossible choice. Because when your environment runs the code for you, success is no longer fragile, it's enforced. Discipline by itself is powerful. Habits by themselves are transformative. Environment by itself can shape your behavior. Accountability by itself can multiply your persistence. But the real breakthrough comes when you stop treating them separately and start merging them into a single integrated system. That's when your habit code becomes unbreakable. The 80% live in fragments. Most people dabble with one element but ignore the others. They try discipline without habits, and their willpower collapses. They try habits without environment, and distractions crush them. They try environment without accountability, and they drift in silence. Because their code is fragmented, their results are inconsistent. The 20% build systems. The successful minority know that power comes from integration. They don't rely on one tool, they connect them all into a closed loop. Discipline initiates action. Habits make action automatic. Environment reinforces action. Accountability amplifies action. The loop sustains itself. No single piece carries all the weight. The system carries itself. Napoleon Hill's parallel. Hill taught about the mastermind alliance, where multiple minds combine to form a greater force. The same principle applies here. When discipline, habits, environment, and accountability combine, they create a system stronger than any single part. When a group of individual brains are coordinated and function in harmony, the increased energy created becomes available to every individual brain in the group. Translate this to your code. When all parts of your system function in harmony, the increased energy makes success inevitable. How integration works. 1. Discipline habits. Discipline forces you to start. Enough repetitions harden into habits. 2. Habits environment. Habits shape your space. When you write daily, your desk becomes sacred. When you train daily, your gear stays ready. 3. Environment accountability. Visible progress invites accountability. When others see your streaks, they reinforce your code. 4. Accountability discipline. Knowing others are watching forces discipline, even when you feel weak. The cycle closes. Each part strengthens the next. The 80% versus the 20%. The 80% live fragmented lives. Their progress collapses because their system is incomplete. The 20% live integrated lives. Every force points in the same direction. Their code becomes a fortress. Macro-micro integration. At the macro level, integration guarantees destiny. At the micro level, integration looks like small, ordinary choices. Put your shoes by the bed, environment. Train with a partner, accountability. Show up daily, discipline. Repeat until automatic, habit. One small action, but it triggers the entire system. Why integration guarantees success? Because once your code is integrated, quitting feels unnatural. Drift feels impossible. Excuses lose oxygen. You don't fight uphill anymore, the slope tilts in your favor. The system works even when you feel weak. Your shift today. Stop dabbling. Stop building fragments. Stop expecting partial codes to deliver full results. Instead, integrate. Build a loop where every part reinforces the others. Let discipline, habits, environment, and accountability fuse into one unbreakable system. Because once the habit code is integrated, you don't just chase success, you guarantee it. You've walked through every layer of the habit code. And now the truth is undeniable: success is not random. Success is coded. Hope delays. Habits deliver. Hope lies. Habits prove. Hope drifts. Habits direct. From this moment forward, you are done with hoping. You are done with waiting for luck, timing, or motivation. You are done with leaving your future up to chance. You now understand the system. Discipline gets you started. Habits make success automatic. Environment enforces your routines. Accountability amplifies your persistence. Resistance strengthens your code. Tracking provides proof. Integration makes the system unbreakable. This is the habit code. Once installed, results are inevitable. Why most people stay stuck? The 80% will keep hoping. They'll hope for the right opportunity. They'll hope for motivation to strike. They'll hope life magically changes. But hope is fragile. Hope rots. Hope betrays. And that's why they'll stay stuck, because they refuse to install the code. Why you won't stay stuck? Because you've seen the truth. You've seen that the habit code forces success, whether you feel motivated or not. You've seen that once discipline and habits are automated, results stop being a gamble. You no longer identify as someone who drifts. You identify as someone who installs. Someone who codes. Someone who executes daily until the system makes winning inevitable. Napoleon Hill captured this identity shift when he said, "You are where you are because of your established habits. You may change where you are by changing your habits. That's your power. That's your leverage. That's your code. Your new identity." From today forward, you stop saying, "I hope I succeed." You start saying, "I am coding success into my life daily." From today forward, you stop asking, will this work for me? You start declaring, it must work for me because I run the code. You are no longer a drifter. You are no longer a hoper. You are a builder, a coder, a finisher. The vision ahead. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Not a life of excuses. Not a life of waiting. But a life of compounded habits, integrated systems, and unshakable results. Your health automatic. Your wealth predictable. Your growth inevitable. This is not fantasy. This is the habit code, running day after day until transformation is unavoidable. Your final step today. Stop hoping. Start installing. Run the code until success has no choice but to appear. Call to action. Now it's your turn. Fire comment below, which habit are you installing first today? Speech balloon, share it. Declare it. Lock it in. If this message hit you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who's been stuck hoping instead of installing. Because most people will keep drifting. But not you. You've seen the code. You've installed the code. And from this moment on, success is no longer a matter of if, it's only a matter of when.